Note, which reads, "Dear announcer, please read this next or else. We now present the funniest programme in the history of television. Ladies and gentlemen, your acclaim, please, for a brand new series of Who Dries Wins." Pardon?
Time, please.
And welcome to the first in a brand new series of Who Dares Wins. And I think I'm speaking on behalf of all five of us when I say it's great to be back.
It certainly isn't it? It's fantastic to be back.
Yeah.
Mind you, we've all been so incredibly busy. It doesn't seem like, what, 12 months since
14.
Sorry, Phil?
It's 14 months since we did the last series.
Is it?
It is.
Really?
Yeah.
So what have you been up to then, this past 14 months, Phil?
Oh, very busy, very busy.
Yeah. Good. What, doing what sort of things you've been doing?
This and that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
various projects. Lots of different balls in there.
Yeah. What sort of specifically, you know?
Well, nothing specific.
No, nothing, no.
Specifically speaking,
No.
nothing short term.
No.
Nothing concrete.
No.
Nothing,
Nothing.
nothing.
It's been a very exciting time for you, Tony, because you've been very busy.
Yeah.
Nothing at all, Phil.
Mind you, Phil, it's twice as much as you did the year before.
But you've been very busy, haven't you, Tony? Because you've been to India in the past 12 months.
That's right. It's been absolutely incredible.
You must have seen some, amazing sights out there.
Just fantastic.
Yeah.
There was this enormous German in our hotel who would get to the pool 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well, Tony, but what about all those places,
Yeah.
you know, like the Taj Mahal?
We didn't go there. I don't like Indian restaurants, actually. We wanted to eat in the pasta place in the Holiday Inn.
Tony, you know, the exquisitely beautiful, you know, world-famous mausoleum, the Taj Mahal.
Oh, is that there too, is it?
You've had an exciting time in the theatre the last 14 months.
That's right, Rory. I have. Yes, I've been in a production that was specially designed to bring, you know, good, intelligent theatre to a part of the world that doesn't normally get it.
Oh, what? The West End?
Very funny, Jimmy.
No,
very funny.
actually, I saw you in that production, Julia. I can't say I enjoyed it that much. I think it was my seat.
Well, what was wrong with it?
It was facing the stage.
What have you been up to, Jimmy? You know, apart from being late for rehearsals and generally irritating and obnoxious.
Actually, Julia, it wasn't my fault I was late for that rehearsal. I had a very good excuse.
A brilliant excuse,
Yep.
Jimmy.
It was a classic, actually, Jim.
Sorry I'm late. My car collided with an elk.
Anyway, Rory, I won't be late for any more rehearsals.
Well, have they exterminated all the elks in Wandsworth?
I've actually got I've got a personal organiser, you see.
Bloody hell.
It tells you where you've got to be when. It's got a little digital alarm that goes off if you're late for a meeting. I mean, it's fantastic for the professional person who wants to get his life organised.
That's great. Can we have a look at it?
I left it on the tube.
Can we get on? I've been waiting 14 months for this job, all right?
Phil, I have a present for Julia. An Indian silk scarf.
Tony, you shouldn't. Oh, look, silk from Bombay. I love
From Gatwick, I got it in the duty free. Yeah, all right. Phil, I got a present for Rory's baby.
that's very nice.
Rory had a baby last week.
That's right. Well, I didn't have the baby. My wife, of course, had the baby. She did all the hard work.
Sure.
I didn't really do very much. Apart from being the father, of course.
Yes, well, as we were saying, it's great to be back.
What is it? What is it?
Nothing. As we were saying, it's great to be back after 12 months
14.
off your screen.
Yeah, it's marvellous to be back.
Look, what's wrong?
What's wrong is I've been out of work for 40 months.
Oh, shut up!
What did I say?
Look, it's great to be back.
Yeah.
Ooh! Anyone want a joss stick?
Oh, shut up!
Just roll a piece of film with you and just get this
You're
programme
so
over bloody
mean,
way.
Mark.
Go
Fed up with
home
it.
now.
Honestly.
Mrs. Wilkins,
Yes?
the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children. Can we come in, please?
Oh, yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
come in. George!
Evening, sir.
These men are from the NSPCC.
Well, I hope you understand our position, sir. We have to check out every report.
What's wrong?
Well, we have an allegation of cruelty against the both of you. It's an allegation of extreme cruelty, I'm afraid. And I shall have to put the charge to you. We've had a report that you are sending your child to a stage school. Is this true?
Well, yes.
I'm
Why?
afraid we should have to take the child into care.
For its own protection.
I don't understand.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid your sort never do they? Do you know what stage school can do to a kid? Do you? Show her the picture.
Oh, God.
What is it, love? What is it?
It's a photo of Bonnie Langford.
Exactly. I've seen it all before. Tell me, am I right in thinking you are two parents of no particular talent or achievement whatsoever, who often appear in amateur productions of Gilbert and Sullivan? Yeah, I thought so. The classic pattern.
But, I mean, our little girl's not going to turn out like this.
Your daughter appeared in a television commercial saying, "Mummy, why are your hands so soft?" Is that correct?
Oh, were you the producer?
Yeah, but it didn't turn her head, you know.
And 2 weeks later, she asked to be taken out of her state school. Why was that?
Oh, because she felt that her name should be first on the class register.
Oh, I see. An alphabetical register, but little Miss Wilkins wanted top billing.
Yes. Oh, but Jemima quite understandably thought that
Excuse
her
me,
name...
did you just say Jemima?
Yes, Jemima Scarlett Ophelia Wilkins.
Let's take the child now, I think.
She's not here!
I can hear tap dancing.
No, please don't. No, please don't.
I'm sorry, madam, if we can prevent another Bonnie Langford.
But she's nothing like Bonnie Langford. I want my tap juice! I want my tap juice!
Oh, my God, let's go now.
Just a few moments with her, please.
All right.
Come. Oh, no. There. You go with these nice men, all right? And don't be frightened.
Can I do my song now?
No.
There's no biz like showbiz, like no biz I know.
No, I can't stand
Everything
it
about is
anymore.
a
My thoughts precisely, madam. Let's go.
You're taking her away!
It's all right, love. They'll look after her. Nothing will happen to her.
Why do you want
I'm sorry, but it was the kindest way.
Spycatcher, the year 1962, and Peter Wright interrogates the master spy, Penkovsky.
Come on, Penkovsky. You know you'll break sooner or later. Tell me what you know.
No, I won't crack, you know.
No, I won't crack. Said the wily Penkovsky. Aha! I thought he's playing right into
Just
my
one
hands.
moment. What is all this wily Penkovsky? The cunning Russian spy was no match for my rapier-like intellect.
What do you think?
It's not bad, it's not bad.
It's only a first draft.
Would you like to read mine?
I'd be honoured.
I was interrogated by the elegant Peter Wright.
How about the sexy Peter Wright?
Okay, what about the sexy Aqualine?
Oh, Aquadine, I love.
Could I borrow your Tipex then?
Yes.
And so the interrogation got nowhere for 8 months as Wright and Penkovsky wrote each other's biographies. But it had been a keener, idealistic Peter Wright who had been enlisted by the security services.
Obviously, we have to run an extremely rigorous and thorough security check before we can allow you into the service. So, are you a Russian spy?
No.
Good. Do you gamble or take drugs?
No.
Are you a homosexual?
No.
Ah. Well, we'll soon fix that. However, there are certain other requirements with which you must comply.
Oh, right. So,
Yes, the silly hat. Welcome aboard, Peter.
Don't miss Spycatcher, starring Philip Pope as the young Peter Wright, Julia Hills as Harold Wilson, Tony Robinson as Sir Roger Hollis, the fifth man, Jimmy Mulville as John Embry, the 12th man, Susie the Bull Terrier as Mrs. Thatcher, and Rory McGrath as Peter Wright's pet spider and author of the bestseller Flycatcher.
Stop it, we can't do a dramatised version of Spycatcher, for God's sake. Dear, oh dear.
of course, because of the government ban.
No, because it's boring old crap, that's why. Jesus. Has anybody here ever read this book? It's like the telephone directory without the suspense. It's so... Honestly, after 14 pages, I fell into a sleep so profound that 2 medical students playing trombones removed my appendix with a knife and fork as a ragweed jape, and I didn't wake up. That's how boring it is. I'll just read you a couple of pages and you'll get the idea. I bet you within seconds, this entire audience is doing synchronised snoring. I bet you. All right, here goes, at random.
Channel 4 would like to apologise for this reading from Spycatcher and would remind those of you at home who can lip read to close your eyes.
There you are. What'd I tell you?
It's all right, you can wake up now. Okay. Well, obviously, our studio audience wasn't really asleep just then. They were just helping us out with the end of the sketch. We were, in a way, using them to provide a visual punchline. There's a technical term for that in our business. It's called cynical manipulation. Or, as we like to call it by its more friendly name, taking the piss. And as we're all outwardly rather lovable and inwardly rather despicable people, this is the sort of part of the show which we enjoy most. For instance, take this woman. By simply pointing the camera at her in a frighteningly intimate way, we can make her look really embarrassed and at the same time make the rest of the audience laugh like drains. Now, they are laughing, of course, out of a sense of relief. A relief that it's not happening to them. like this man here. Not quite so smug now, are we? And of course, taking this one step further, we can make people really embarrassed by showing two people who shouldn't really be here together. Yes, you may well react, Mr. Simon Leighton, married with 2 children, and Ms. Susanna Fowles' personal assistant. Meanwhile, of course, our original subject is feeling really relaxed now because, you know, we're not concentrating on her any longer. Or are we? One more quick look at the smug git. A shot of a bald man to give us a cheap laugh. Yes, the studio audience always loves a bald man. And finally, a shot of a man up the back who thinks he's out of range of the cameras. So, if you've got a good idea of how to humiliate and embarrass a studio audience, please write in and tell us about it. And the person who has the most interesting idea will win 2 free tickets to come and sit in our studio audience.
Well, where does the English language come from? Well, with me tonight is the world's leading expert on the origins of English, Professor Hugh Markworth. Professor, how was English created?
Modern English consists primarily of words derived from 4 ancient languages, and those 4 languages are Saxon, Norman, Latin, and bollocks. Yes, the language of bollocks, once spoken by the ancient tribe of the Bollocks.
Oh, yes, and you've written a book about them, haven't you?
Yes, The Rise and Fall of the Bollocks.
So, what sort of tribe were they?
Well, there is a reference to them in Caesar's Gallic War. Having first made camp, we heard a great roar, and the fearsome tribe of the Bollocks descended upon us, boasting about their interesting jobs and the value of their houses.
So they were a tribe of boasters and braggarts?
Yes, and hence their language became a byword for exaggeration. Hence the Saxon expression, he's talking bollocks.
Now, Professor, you say that English is very, very rich because of the diverse languages which have spawned it.
That's right, yes. If we can just take a look at a magazine article at random here. For example, here's the word beef, which we got from the Normans.
Boof.
That's right, yes. Yes, and here are the words grunt, which is Saxon, quantum, which is Latin, and astrology, which is bollocks. Of course, there are words and phrases which creep in all the time from other languages.
Oh, yes, like, well, I suppose an expression like nouvelle cuisine, which is, of course, French.
No, that's bollocks as well, actually. As is haute couture and Perrier and...
So, Professor, what bollocks words are still in everyday usage?
Well, words like lifestyle, that's bollocks. Software, user-friendly, all bollocks.
What about a word like tabloid?
Ah, now that's pure bollocks. Adulterated by any other linguistic influence, or as some scholars prefer to call it, high bollocks. Although, of course, originally in bollocks, the word tabloid meant a clinging lump of canine excrement.
The meaning has changed.
Well, that's a bit of a grey area, really.
Fundamentally, Professor, is bollocks a dead language like Latin?
Well, written bollocks still survives, thanks to Peregrine Worsthorne and Shirley Conran. And bollocks is still spoken in some regions.
Indeed it is. And here's someone who speaks fluent bollocks, Jimmy.
Thank you, Julia. Well, some late news in. Mrs. Thatcher is promoting a number of disgraced Tories. Keith Best will be Under-Secretary for Trade and Industry. Harvey Proctor will be Under-Secretary for Rough Trade and Industry. And Cecil Parkinson will just be Under-Secretaries.
Later on, we'll be reviewing the autobiography of controversial US evangelist Jimmy Swaggart, which is entitled Praise the Lord and Pass the Vaseline.
Right. Well, that is our final offer. If the workforce don't accept it, you'll simply all be dismissed, locked out.
And the entire plant will be run by the management. That's the deal. You accept it unconditionally, or we have a major confrontation. Now, which is it to be?
We accept.
All right, if you're going to use those kind of union bully boy tactics... Oh, if you want to fight, by God, you'll get a fight!
We accept!
What?
We accept all your terms.
Including the no-strike agreement?
Yes.
And the use of outside labour?
Yes.
And the figure itself, the 6%, you accept that?
Yes. Obviously, 6% is quite a large pay cut, but we've decided to take, along with the 2-week cut and holiday, the no going to the toilet clause, and the management to have the right of droit de seigneur with all female staff. It's all acceptable.
Why?
Well, the way we see it, you've got us over a barrel. I mean, for some months now, your tactics have been very, well, provocational. I mean, almost confrontational. It's almost as if you want us to strike.
Oh, come on.
Ridiculous.
Just strike.
We want a peaceful solution.
Absolutely.
You do want us to strike, don't you?
No.
You want us to strike!
Yes, all right, we do want to. We want you to strike because we want to have a go on the forklift trucks.
Sorry?
Well, we like to drive the forklift trucks.
We want to work the lathes.
And use the oxyacetylene torch.
Yes, that basically is the management position.
Yep.
Oh, I see. Oh, well, in that case, we definitely won't strike.
Oh, go on.
Please.
Oh, please. Oh, pretty
just for
please.
short
For
time.
please.
For one day.
Just a tiny bit.
For half a day.
No.
For longer.
Right. Then it's a deadlock.
So, how will it end? This week's competition is, what will the punchline of that sketch be? Will it be A, then thank heavens it's not a B-Day factory? B, I'm sorry but the Mars bar was frozen? Or C, would you mind lying down while I have one? Entries on a postcard, please, and the winner will be chosen by tonight's guest. Will you welcome Mr. Barry Cryer? Now, Barry, you're renowned as a bit of a comedy archivist. You've worked with most of the great comedians. In your opinion, who was the funniest?
Well, it's tempting to say Eric Morecambe or Tommy Cooper. I mean, they were great, but the funniest man I ever saw, I think it was when I was about 15, was Billy Bolsover.
Yeah, he did music hall in 40s and 50s.
Yes, that's right, yes.
He had the silly catchphrase.
Had a marvellous catchphrase, yes. He always used to say, you never know your luck with a knitting needle and a duck. So it's once round the lighthouse and back in time for tea.
That's right. But wasn't he known? He was known as Billy, you never know your luck with a knitting needle and a duck, so it's once round the lighthouse and back in time for tea. Bolsover,
Yes.
wasn't it?
That's how he liked to be billed.
Yeah, top of the bill.
Well, it was the only name you could get on the bill.
Yeah. He was he's a bit mean, wasn't he?
Well, people said that, but you know how these lurid stories about celebrities start, you know.
Yeah, by having you on chat shows mainly. But so he wasn't mean then?
Well, no, you've got to remember he came from a very poor background, and that taught him the value of money. He's a very tough, gutty character, and he survived a lot of tragedy.
Right.
He lost 2 daughters.
He sold 2 daughters.
Well, he wasn't a saint, but he's a brilliant performer.
He had quite a few catchphrases, didn't he?
Oh, yes. He used to say, whose round is it? And I'll pay you back next month. What'll you give me for the one with the freckles? You know.
Is it not true to say that most comedians have a reputation for being a bit tight-fisted?
No, I wouldn't say that. No.
Max Miller?
No, it was just a joke with Max.
Never bought me a drink.
He died before you were born.
Exactly what that man did to get out of buying around. Come on, Barry, why are all comedians mean?
Well, I don't think they are. I think it's a sort of mythology.
Well, with respect to you, you've got a bit of a reputation yourself, haven't you?
Sorry?
A bit tight-fisted. Well, I mean, aren't you known as Barry, I'm sorry I've left my wallet at home, Cryer?
I don't remember hearing that one, no.
I'll tell you what, lend us some money.
No.
Come on.
No, I can't
seriously,
lend you.
lend us a fiver or so. Lend me some money.
I can't lend you any money.
Why not?
I've left my wallet at home.
You see?
My wife is looking after my wallet.
I saw your wife the other day, actually, in the supermarket. She was asking for a cardboard box.
Well, she probably had a lot of shopping.
No, she said she wanted somewhere for her and the kids to sleep, actually.
I think you're mixing somebody else up with my wife.
No, I recognise the bare feet and the chains marks on their ankles.
Can we talk about Billy Bolsover?
All right. Not a big star up north. Very popular in London and the South East, but never made it big up north.
Not popular up there, no.
Why do you think that was?
No idea. He just never caught on up
Really?
there. No.
You're going to finish with one of his songs, I believe?
Well, if I may.
Yeah.
Can I stand up and do this?
Please.
This is the song he used to sing. Marvellous. I hate northerners. Northerners make me sick. They wear flat caps and talk as if they're chewing a brick. They've got mushy peas for brains and they're boring loud and thick. I hate northerners. Northerners make me sick. Great performer.
And you say you never caught on up north?
No.
It's probably the accent or something.
Could well be.
Well, thanks for talking to us, Barry. I know you've got to rush off and hitchhike home, so we'll let you go. Another nostalgia spot next week when we talk to Vera Lynn's agent, and he reveals how he bribed Hitler to start the Second World War.
I would just like to reaffirm that we have complete confidence in Chief Constable Underton.
Yes, sir, your views here on homosexuality have caused a fair bit of controversy. Do you still feel the same way?
The Chief Constable's comments were misinterpreted. They were actually quite moderate.
Well, he did say, and I quote, "We should chop the bollocks off all men."
Yes, but I think you're quoting him out of context. I'm sure you'll find that those remarks were qualified.
Well, he went on to say, "Bring me an axe and a pufter now, and I'll do it myself."
Thank you for that interesting point. Next question.
Can I address this directly to the Chief Constable, please?
Certainly.
His plan to arm the police...
It's getting increasingly dangerous on the beat.
His plan to arm the police with bazookas.
Yes, very tough muggers.
Could you let the Chief Constable...
We have every confidence in him.
Sir, what about your plans to ban drug addicts from Britain?
I never said that, in fact. What I said was we should brand all drug addicts in Britain.
But you no longer hold that view, do you, Constable?
No, because if we did that, they get confused with the prostitutes we've branded. Hang on. Yes? No, I've changed my mind. I'm in favour of branding them after all.
Why have you changed your mind?
I was talking to the Lord.
That's the Lord Whitelaw, Lord Whitelaw over there in the wings.
No, I was consulting with God.
That's Alfred God, the well-known law book.
Sir, do you see yourself as God's messenger on earth?
No. I am, in fact, the second coming.
But you don't let it interfere with your police work, do you? I must reaffirm that the Home Office has complete confidence in this madman, this policeman. We have confidence in his ability. We have confidence in his committal, his commitment.
It might help if I read from a prepared statement.
Oh, my God.
I have, in recent years, been the focus of much criticism over my personal beliefs and views. Whilst those views are deeply held, I do accept that the manner in which I have sometimes expressed them has caused anxiety and alarm. In future, I shall clear all speeches through the relevant authorities to avoid any counterproductive controversy. I would like to say in closing that though I may be a fervent traditionalist and deeply religious, I am not mad. Signed, Chief Constable James Underton.
Yeah.
And witnessed by Percy, my invisible giraffe.
We would like to make it quite clear that the character of Chief Constable James Underton is entirely fictional. It is not meant to resemble Chief Constable James Anderton at all.
Did you know that air traffic control has become such a shambles that near misses have reached quite frightening proportions?
Really? No, I didn't know that.
Yes, I just read it in today's paper.
Oh, good. Have they brought in the papers?
No, but they have on that flight.
Later on, we're going to be looking at the ethics of brain transplants. Is it right to remove part of someone's brain without their permission? And why has it never bothered TVAM? But first of all, I'd like to talk to you about... What?
Johnny, hate mail. Dear Puss Features, you must be the ugliest git on TV. Every time you come on, we all bang our heads against the wall and throw up. Signed, Mum.
Come on, Rory, don't get upset about it. I mean, at least it shows she watches.
Oh, thanks very much.
Well, I get abusive mail. I don't let it upset me.
Why not?
Well, because one of the targets I set myself this year was not to get upset by unimportant things.
Oh,
See, at the start of the year, I wrote down all my personal targets.
Here we go.
It's a really good idea. I mean, there you are. 1, don't get upset by trivial things. 2, be positive. 3, put time aside each day to have a meeting with yourself. 4...
Talk crap.
Just because you've got no personal goals.
How do you know?
It's true, Rory. As an individual, you have no goals.
I have, actually. Look, I've got them here. I always carry them around in case anyone fancies a quick game of Sabutio.
Yes, but you haven't got a list like me.
Yes, I have. 1, don't make any lists. That's it.
I'd like to talk...
You can be Chelsea.
Rory, I'm trying to do
I'll be
it, Mr.
Arsenal.
Kemp.
No, it's all right. Go on. Oh, look. There he is. Alan Smith, eh? Arsenal centre forward.
Yes. The resemblance is uncanny. Mind you, Smith's not as mobile as that, is he?
Oh, very funny, Julie. Very funny.
Rory, hang on. All the Chelsea players' legs are broken.
Yeah, they played Wimbledon last week. Right, here's the pitch.
What's happened to it?
I played Jimmy last night. You know what a bad loser he is?
Well, he set fire to your pitch?
No, he set fire to my flat, actually.
Anyway, as I was saying, I'd like to talk to you tonight about cats and... Rory, I'm trying to do... I can't do a piece of your thing. Rory, will you do it yourself then, Puss Features?
Sorry about that. She's a bit tense today. She's waiting to hear about her part in Neighbours. She's worried she might have got it.
Now for some late news. Ian Botham has vigorously denied reports that both he and his elephants have been taking enormous amounts of cocaine.
What's this guy done on my set, Bob? This guy here?
Well, that's an ordinary Vietnam person, sir.
What?
Well, we thought it would be nice to have a Vietnam person in the picture.
All right,
sir.
okay, yeah, sure. Bob, this movie is not about the fucking Vietnamese. What's it about?
The Vietnam War.
That's right, Americans. Okay, you, on the floor. Face down, come on. Face down? You're dead, for Christ's sake. Hi. Hi, know your lines at all?
Sure,
Let's hear them.
jerk off, you mother...
Can we remind our friend here of his lines that he's paid for Christ's sake?
Mine is jerk off, you mother, you friggin' asshole. For Christ's sake, Jesus, shit, you jerking asshole.
Okay, thank you, Dolores. Okay, thank you. You hear? You hear? One more line of coherent dialogue from you, and you're off the movie. Okay, can we go for one, please?
Let's go.
Thank you.
Come on, just move.
Well, that was director Troy Schumann on the set of his latest film, Vietnam Bloodbath. And we're very happy to have Troy with us here in the studio tonight. Troy, welcome.
Hi.
Now then, Troy, recently there's been a spate of films about Vietnam, hasn't there? I mean, There's been Hamburger Hill, Platoon, Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, but my movie, Julia, is totally different creatively. It's a very visceral kind of film, and it's a major reinterpretation of the American experience in Vietnam.
Indeed. In fact, in your film, the Americans win the Vietnam War inside 2 days.
Correct.
Of course, a lot of historians have sort of quibbled with this interpretation.
They just don't understand that what I'm trying to get at is some kind of spiritual essence of the Vietnam experience, not some historical abstract. And these historians are the same guys who criticized my movie Hiroshima Hero.
Oh, right, in which Sylvester Stallone played the Marine who single-handedly captured Hiroshima.
That's right, yeah.
It went down very well in America, didn't it?
Very, very well in America, Julia. Not too good in Japan.
For me personally, Troy, there's one particularly stunning sequence in Vietnam Bloodbath where 30,000 square miles of rainforest is totally engulfed by napalm. It's stunning.
You know, we shot the whole sequence in Mexico.
Really?
Yeah.
So Mexico's very like Vietnam?
It is now. Charred and messed up with people with,
Great,
you know...
really. Well, actually, perhaps to finish, perhaps we could see a clip of the most climactic moment from the film Vietnam Bloodbath.
Thank you.
Jesus friggin' Christ. We are a bunch of assholes.
You know that? Assholes. Why the hell are we here?
I know why I'm here.
Oh, yeah? Why?
I'm here because...
I'm a Vietnam kind of guy. I love golden napalm in a smoky sky. It sets my heart to yearning for the smell of jungle burning. So put up your dukes, all you yellow gooks, 'cause I'm a Vietnam kind of guy. A Vietnam kind of crazy guy. Oh, we love to hear the yak-yak. Feel the smack inside our knapsack. So come on, let's yell. Let's yell. Oh. That this war is hell. But it's damn good fun as well. Let's go.